All right, let's jump right in. We're looking at a really fascinating national strategy today. How Vietnam is planning to use artificial intelligence to, well, revolutionize its entire healthcare system. And believe me, this isn't just about a few new gadgets. It's a massive blueprint for the future.
But really, it all boils down to this one huge fundamental question. How on earth can a nation get the kind of expertise you'd find in a top-tier city hospital, all the way out to a small local clinic in a remote village?
So Vietnam's big answer is AI. But, and this is a huge but, this isn't some simple tech fix you can just plug in. It's the very beginning of a really complex journey that, is all about putting people first.
Okay, so to really get the solution, we've got to understand the problem. Let's take a look at what's putting Vietnam's healthcare system under so much pressure.
The system is basically being squeezed from two different directions. You've got a growing, modernizing population that's, rightly demanding better care. At the same time, all the most highly trained medical specialists, they're mostly in the big cities, and that creates a really dangerous expertise gap for everybody else.
And yeah, that imbalance creates a massive gap. All the deep knowledge is stuck in just a handful of large hospitals. Meanwhile, the frontline clinics, the local commune-level ones, are just desperate for that support, whether it's for a quick consultation or a really complex case.
And this is where the strategy shifts to tech. But the key thing to remember here is how they're framing AI. It's seen as a helpful assistant, a powerful tool that's there to support doctors, not to replace them.
This chart really makes that division of labor super clear. The human doctors are left to do what they do best, right? Making those complex judgment calls, showing empathy, making the final diagnosis. The AI, on the other hand, becomes this tireless assistant, doing the heavy lifting of analyzing tons of data, helping with training, and maybe most importantly, acting as that digital bridge connecting the remote clinics to the city experts.
And this, right here, is the heart of the entire strategy. The big vision isn't about just buying some off-the-shelf AI. Nope. It's about building a sovereign medical knowledge base, one that's built on Vietnamese data by Vietnamese experts specifically for the unique needs of the Vietnamese people.
But, with big ambitions come big risks. And the people designing this plan are incredibly aware that in medicine, bad AI isn't just annoying, it can be downright dangerous.
This quote just perfectly nails the core danger. A large language model, the tech that powers chatbots, is described not as a precise expert, but as a creative artist. Think about that. Its job is to invent answers that sound totally reasonable and convincing, even if they're completely made up.
And there's a name for this. It's called AI hallucination. It's when the AI just confidently makes stuff up and presents it as fact. You can just imagine how catastrophic that would be if a patient or a new doctor got a piece of bad medical advice.
And the practical challenges are just huge. It's not just about getting data, it's about getting the right kind of data. The AI has to understand how a farmer in a rural province describes their symptoms, not just the textbook terms. The cost and effort to digitize and label the data for even a single disease is enormous. And all of this has to be done without ever compromising patient privacy.
So, if you know all the risks, how do you actually move forward? Well, the strategy isn't to hit the brakes. It's to build a safe roadmap, a guided path that actually encourages safe innovation.
A really important idea here is this concept of a legal corridor, not a legal barrier. See, a barrier is just an obstacle. It creates friction, and it makes people look for risky workarounds. A corridor, on the other hand, gives you a clear, safe path forward. It guides development so that it's both effective and responsible.
So how do you get people to trust a brand new system like this? Well, the rollout plan is just brilliantly pragmatic. It gets that doctors are incredibly busy people. You can't just throw a new tool at them and expect them to use it. You have to start small, with pilot projects that give you quick, visible results. You prove that it's actually worth their time first, and only then do you start to scale it up.
And look, this isn't happening overnight. The realistic time frame they're looking at to build and fine-tune this national knowledge base is about 3 to 5 years. It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
And holding this whole strategy together is this one simple but really profound golden rule for any AI that a patient might interact with. It is always better for the system to say, "I don't know," and send you to a human doctor than to even risk giving you an answer that might be wrong. Safety is everything.
And finally, none of this can happen in a bubble. The success of this whole national project depends completely on a foundation of deep, well-structured collaboration.
Success really comes down to a three-way partnership.
You need the government to create that safe, legal corridor. You need the universities and hospitals to provide the fuel, all that expert knowledge and data. And then you need the tech companies to actually build the secure tools and infrastructure that brings it all to life.
And this is probably the most important thing to take away from all this. The technology is just one piece of the puzzle. This entire project will succeed or fail based on one thing: whether Vietnam's top medical experts are willing to dedicate their precious time to teach the system, to share that invaluable knowledge they've spent their whole careers building.
Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to build some fancy new tech. It's about using that tech to empower doctors, to make their expertise go further, and to finally be able to serve every single patient, no matter where they live in the nation.
Which kind of leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? By putting human experts firmly in the driver's seat and making safety the absolute #1 priority, can this incredibly ambitious strategy truly build a healthier, more equal future for all of Vietnam?